the challenges has been staffing. Normally, they would have a quarter of the amount of people working here, but not this year. They're working around the clock. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And unforeseen obstacles have come with the boom.
We're always looking for people. And, to be able to fill these shifts, at times we've run short of things like ice, which we've had to bring on to Prince Rupert, which we've never done before.
Too many bad years resulted in shrunken infrastructure. Now times are good, and it's a scramble to keep up.
It's minister to allow what we're seeing right now, which is a huge haul of salmon without a lot of careful planning and thought for tomorrow.
You don't go fishing unless you know you have somewhere to put them, right? It's irresponsible.
Yet despite concerns, everyone agrees this is great to see. An industry once again soaking up profits, one that's had a rough go of it for far too long. Norma Reed, CTV News, Vancouver.
For the first time since the U.S. mortgage meltdown, there has been a slight improvement in the number of foreclosures. But the new figures are no comfort for the most vulnerable casualties of the recession. Sometimes to help them, it takes a village. Sometimes it even takes a vigilante. CTV's Los Angeles Bureau Chief Tom Walters explains.
Maybe in the tough neighborhood of South Central L.A., they know what it feels like to be the underdog in an economic crisis. Like Taz, abandoned in the garage of a foreclosed home. One of two pit bulls locked in and left behind. And for that, neighbors will get involved.
I'll probably get killed for it, but oh well.
Elissa Wood called authorities with an all-too-familiar story. With 2.3 million American homes lost to foreclosure over the past 3 years, animal control officers across the U.S. have been in a race.
Man, it stinks.
To rescue abandoned pets before they starve.
You in there, little guy?
But when they showed up here, they just gave food and water to the dogs. They say they're not allowed to remove them without first posting a 24-hour written warning to the owners, whether they're here or not.
Possibly people could come back and then they could turn this around and sue the city.
Under a searing August sun, that isn't good enough for Hans Peterson.
I understand you have your procedures, but the dog's life's more important.
So Peterson goes in and brings out a 6-month-old puppy. Once outside, it can be taken away. But before he can get to Taz, Peterson himself is taken away, collared on the authority of the dog catchers.
Why'd you arrest this guy?
He was obstructing our investigation.
Investigation? Neighbors don't see any mystery. And around here, choosing sides between petty officials and pit bulls is no contest.
The dog will end up dead in a day and a half.
By the time animal control officers had waited long enough to come back and get Taz, they were too late. Others had already broken into this garage and taken the law and the dog into their own hands. Tom Walters, CTV News, Los Angeles.
You got one foot in a two-step. I can see that smile. You and me were meant to be. So come dance with me.
After 2 years of rising tensions, Palestinian and Israeli leaders are ready to give peace talks another chance. They will meet in Washington this week, but already the issue of Jewish settlements in the West Bank is proving to be the potential deal breaker. And as CTV's Joanne Clancy reports, it's not just Palestinians who are against new construction.
As Israel's prime minister prepares for face-to-face peace talks, he first has to face opposition at home. This time from dozens of Israeli actors boycotting a new theater in one of the country's largest settlements. A boycott, says Benjamin Netanyahu, that undermines Israel's image abroad. It comes just days before he heads to Washington, where the future of settlements will be center stage. The international community considers them illegal. That includes some neighborhoods in East Jerusalem where weekly clashes like this between settlers and Arabs are a constant reminder of just how high the stakes are. A 10-month freeze on settlement construction is supposed to end 3 weeks into the fledgling talks. Government critics threaten to bring down the conservative coalition government if the building ban isn't lifted. Palestinian negotiators threaten to walk away from peace talks if it is.
We told the Americans, if he continues the settlements, we cannot continue the negotiations. So I don't think there is any games of public relation games, threats, deceits. It's very, very obvious and very clear.
This Israeli-Canadian settler living in the West Bank wants to know what will happen to his family under a future peace deal where the future of settlements is on the table.
It is unsettling to not know if you're going to be in your home a year from now, and maybe it'll be bulldozed and maybe we'll be plucked up and say, okay, here's your compensation, go start life somewhere else, or we'll be in the midst of a war zone, God forbid.
Benjamin Netanyahu calls the settlement freeze a one-time gesture, and it's something he hasn't talked about publicly since the U.S. announced the resumption of peace talks. This week in Washington, however, as he outlines his vision for the two-state solution, he'll have to. Joanne Clancy, CTV News, Ephrata, the West Bank.
There's outrage in Germany over comments from a senior banker about Jews and Muslims. Thilo Sarrazin's statements are being described as racist, anti-Semitic, and stupid. The member of Germany's central bank told a newspaper, quote, all Jews share the same gene that makes them different than other people. He also said Muslim immigrants aren't willing to integrate into German society. Politicians, along with Jewish and Muslim groups, are condemning the comments. In other news, a shootout between the Chechen president's personal guards and suspected separatist rebels has killed 19 people, including 5 civilians. The fighting took place near the presidential home in a village in Chechnya. Russia's volatile North Caucasus region is the scene of frequent attacks by separatist rebels. And after a month of severe flooding in Pakistan, a few hundred displaced people are trying to return home. Several main roads have been damaged, forcing people to walk through floodwaters, carrying children and belongings. More than 8 million people in Pakistan have been forced from their homes. When we return, swimming against the tide. What's a whale doing in these waters? That's next on CTV National News.
Back pain. It can make everything you do virtually impossible. That's when you want Tylenol Back Pain. A muscle relaxant plus effective pain relief in one pill. Tylenol Back Pain. Get back to normal, whatever your normal is.
If the picturesque view wasn't enough, people living in Vancouver's Kitsilano Beach area were treated to another eye-catching event. A gray whale ventured into the neighborhood today, swimming just offshore. A rare sight, to say the least, but one that could become more common. CTV's Penny Daflos explains.
It appeared there.
It started out as a relaxing day at the beach for Peter Williams.
Suddenly, this huge plume just appeared.
His news instincts kicked in, and the one-time CNN cameraman sprang into action.
I phoned my wife and said, "You got to get a camera down here." People had gathered at that stage, and she brought down my smallest little camera I have, and I managed to get some shots.
Other witnesses were equally amazed at the sight.
Look out, and there's this huge spout of water come into the air, and it's a whale.
I jumped up. I actually almost fell down the cliff in my hurry to get to the water.
It just looked completely out of place. I was like, what is a whale doing just about 300 or 400 feet out at Kitsilano?
There's no sign that the whale is in trouble. Whale is doing what whales do. It knows how it got here. It knows how to get out.
And how to draw a crowd.
The crowd kept getting bigger and bigger, and the whale started coming across from the point almost into the swimming area before it turned and was being followed by a couple of kayakers.
I just wanted to leap right in with them.
An adventurous beachgoer did just that and made a beeline for the whale, which may not have been a great idea.
People should be cautious. These are huge animals. They've got no appreciation for what one swat of their tail might do. And while the whale may not be aggressive, people can easily get hurt.
This isn't the first spectacular sea mammal to spend an afternoon in Vancouver. In May, another gray whale took a tour through False Creek. A day later, an estimated 150 dolphins frolicked near Horseshoe Bay.
Species that we know used to be here in large numbers in the past now appear to be recolonizing. They're coming back.
Which means these jaw-dropping encounters could become more common for all of us. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, it was a whale of a night for television, the 62nd Emmy Awards, a night to celebrate the best on the box. Among the big winners were the drama Breaking Bad and the comedies Modern Family and Glee.
And the Emmy goes to Jane Lynch, Glee.
Jane Lynch won Best Supporting Actress for her role as the tough cheerleading coach on Glee. The show's director, Ryan Murphy, also won an award. Eric Stonestreet of Modern Family was honored for supporting actor in a comedy series. The show also won for writing and also took the award for Best Comedy.
Accepting the Emmy on behalf of...
I am so humbled and amazed to be in your company. You're only as good as the company you keep.
Bryan Cranston earned his third Best Actor's Emmy for his portrayal of a drug dealer in Breaking Bad. His co-star Aaron Paul won a Supporting Actor award for the series. Best Actress in a Drama went to Kira Sedgwick for playing the brassy deputy police chief in The Closer. And for the third year in a row, the award for the top drama series went to Mad Men. And that is our newscast for this Sunday. Thank you for being with us this weekend. I'm Sandy Ronaldo. Lisa Laflamme will be here in the anchor chair for Lloyd Robertson tomorrow. Have a good night and a good week ahead. For many of you, local CTV News comes next. Good night. I'll see you soon.
CTV News, Canada's #1 newscast.